Hello everyone, welcome to Kibera News Network home version of school show. Now today's edition, we visit Shofco Library. On my left side, I have Kianda student, and on my right side, I have PhD student, debating on the motion that says that CBC is better than 844 system. May the best team win.
35 years ago, the 844 system of education was introduced in Kenya after successful reports from Mackay. It was an advancement from another education system which went 2, 7, 3, I guess then 3 again. It was an adjustment to that, and over the years, most learners have passed through the 844 system of education, and some have successfully gotten their jobs, while others haven't gotten their jobs that they had trained for. That is why, again, in 2017, the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development introduced competency-based curriculum, popularly known as CBC. CBC was mainly aimed to come at the shortcomings of 844 education system that were there, such as no jobs and I guess talent recognition in schools. So today we are here for this debate because we want to know whether CBC is better than 844 system of education.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity to propose the motion that says CBC is better than 844. CBC, it's a balanced education system where there's classwork and the co-curricular activities are given an equal time, compared to 844 where the classwork is the main thing in our classes nowadays. For example, during the post-COVID-19 period, the co-curricular activities were suspended in our schools in the 844 system, while in the CBC, they still have the arts and sports, the sciences, the technologies, the mathematics, the engineering. We are the social sciences, but during the 844 system, everyone is in class. We don't have time for outside the PE lessons. We don't have. Not everyone is capable of sitting in class without having some time outside. Not everyone concentrates in class because of the work they do or the lessons they learned. They need time to relax.
How can we say CBC is better than 844? How dare we? CBC requires precise planning. You know, to bring up a young doctor, one needs a well-trained personnel. From what I had seen about 2 months ago, the sample teachers who are to, carry us through this CBC only underwent 1 week of training. Now tell me, how can I bring up a young doctor with only 1 week of training? How? I go to my second point. CBC only favors government institutions. What will happen to the private institutions? What will happen to the teachers in the private institutions? They will lose their jobs. And as a result, the standards will be lowered. And what happens if someone's standard is lowered? He or she's standard depends on the economy. And as a result, our economy will deteriorate, my speaker.
CBC is better than 844 system. First of all, in Kenya, the 844 system has not favored majority of the citizens, because you find that someone studies for 8 years, going for 4 years, then another 4 years, and then he's out, jobless, and no opportunity is given to him. So CBC is an education system that puts emphasis on learners' unique talents and abilities rather than focusing wholly on academics and performances. Because you see, CBC, you find a student or a pupil have the capability of doing something, so the teachers are the ones who nurture him in one way or the other on how to cope up with several opportunities out there.
People are lamenting that CBC is expensive, but how? If you look at 844, it caters for all students by promoting free education, which favors poor students. But look at CBC. A parent has to so that he will need all requirements for his or her child to learn. Now in 844, even they've already promoted free education, but look at CBC. They're still saying that if a parent wants his or her child to learn, he must have all the requirements.
CBC has given equal opportunity for every student. Why? CBC has given, like, let's say for example my speaker, in subjects we have music, we have social sciences, we have environmental hygiene, which a student is given that the subjects are not compulsory. While in 844, a student, you have to choose either biology or history. Coming to CBC, we have those art and sports, you have those environmental hygiene, where a student can be explained on how to be physically fit. While in 844, a student is occupied and focused on his or her studies. This makes the student to be more not engaged in plays like arts and sports.
CBC is a copyright, and the logic of borrowing and importing was not based on successful stories. For example, in Africa, where we have undeveloped countries, in Tanzania, under the leadership of Julius Nyerere, came up with a post-colonial educational system, competency-based, which failed dreadfully. In South Africa, 14 decades later, in 2010, it failed to improve the student learning outcome. And so, if the system fails in Kenya, it will not be a surprise for us. Hence, the government should not spend and waste public funds in this curriculum, and should embrace the 844 curriculum, since the challenges that faced these particular two countries are the same challenges that face us at this particular moment.
Before I begin, let me address my fellow member Sheldon. Stop comparing our country Kenya with Tanzania. That was in Tanzania. If Tanzania had failed in CBC, doesn't mean that we Kenyans will fail in CBC. Take care. After that, CBC is better than 844 system of education, because CBC focuses on, CBC is a economical benefit to the community. When I say economical benefit to the community, I mean that CBC brings students or learners out of the school to interact with the environment in the community. For example, the system of community service learning. We see those students or learners coming out of school, they come and clean the environment, which if you compare to 844 system, me personally have not been stepped out of school to come and collect dustbin or water from the community.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this golden opportunity to strongly disagree with the motion that states that competence-based curriculum is better than the 844 system of education. Let's put this in consideration. For 844, the teachers, they take their time, they teach the students or the learners. But for CBC, we see they are involving the parents. Put this into consideration. The teachers are giving guidelines to the learners, and the parents are supposed to teach their students through their homeworks. What will happen to those parents who are illiterate? They never went to school. How will they help their children to do their assignments?
This organization was formed by Kennedy Odedas. I know, popularly known in Kenya, Shofco Odede is the founder of Shofco. So for me, actually I'm a scholar at Shofco. They gave me scholarship through high school, from Form 1 to Form 4. So whatever I'm doing as a volunteering at Library PAG, it's like I'm giving back to the community because I was helped. So another thing, actually, now this this part of the library section, this department is known as Rose Gold Teaching Program, where we help students through doing library teaching through over the week. So mostly to the day scholars and primary scholars who usually come to the library when they have difficulties in the assignment, when other students never got any concept from the school, we help them at least so that they may get further knowledge. Okay, the way our economy is moving, you can see how we have a bigger issue with our economy. The rest of this price of actually everything is rising up, and yet we have CBC, which is a challenge even to the teachers, to the parents, and to the same students who are in school. And you can see that CBC is also taking another budget, something like I can say 2.7 billion, part of the Kenyan budget. And through all these challenges that we're seeing, actually I can see it's a major thing that's making the economy to be tougher on the people who are, at least I can say, on the lower level of the status quo. That's what I can say, because we have still few people who are, okay, 3/4 of the people who live in Kenya comes from slums area, where they have difficulties in providing their meals, daily meals. And because life is becoming harder, because of the high rise of economy, at least it's a big issue, and I think CBC can be part of at least I can say in Kiswahili also, kuchangia kwa hizo ugumu wa maisha, juu wanachukua pesa zingine, na yet still even our own teachers don't know how to teach this CBC. So I think it's a little challenge. That's why we open it as a motion, so that we can get some opinions from our fellow students. How do they feel it? And as we can hear through this our debate today debate motion, people who are supporting 844 system have won, and we have seen it's still a challenge. CBC is still a bigger challenge to our economy, and that's why you brought up the motion.
For today, Kianda did very well, very, very well, and through their leadership, I think if we try to work out on the areas that we have observed, I know we can be the next winners tomorrow. Otherwise, for today, the PAG has carried the day. Yes. And can the PAG now, for a very stiff competition, because you can't win without an opponent, right? Yes. Can we appreciate Kianda? Yeah. And Kianda, can we appreciate and tell them this is just for today, man? There's the next time. Yeah. So that was really good. So that was the results for today. Kianda at PAG at 70% and Kianda at 61%.
We have come to the end of our motion today. Congratulations to the winning team. I'm your host, Evelyn Awar. See you again next time. Bye-bye.